Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Before we get into this episode, I want to talk a little bit about Brando, his death, everything of that nature. And here's the thing. Yesterday, emotions was high. Okay, I feel like today is a little bit different because, all right, what I mean by that is that I had time to process, like everyone else, about Brando's death. While yesterday was really sad, I'm wondering what made it so sad. Okay, we've talked about this number amount of times as far as cutting casts, right? And although again, you can't make everyone happy if they take off a character that you like, character that you didn't like, you're not going to make everyone happy. In a lot of ways, I see Brando's death like a correction in so many ways. Don't get me wrong, I would choose Brando over Dex, over Rory, over Cody. But they gotta start making some changes. And that's the first thing, is to blow the cast. They gotta start taking out some characters. Another thing, I don't think that Brando's death was as sad as watching someone die in the hospital. Like I said, when I was somewhat of a kid, and I was watching these shows and watching people die in hospitals and stuff, it didn't really hit me on the same level as now. So I think it wasn't so much for me as Brando's death that was heartbreaking to watch. It was watching someone in the hospital, death in general. You know, I woke up today and I was just like, I know a lot of people are going to be upset that they killed off Brando. Let's just keep in mind, before we get all angry and emotional and start typing a bunch of things and, you know, just get all caught up in our feelings, that we got to sit there and ask the question, was it his choice to leave? I say that because I think of Nathan. You know, I think of Nathan. And I remember people were like really upset. They were just caught up all in their emotions. The actor wanted to leave. He wanted to do other things. He wanted to be in other projects, movies, TV shows, whatever. He wanted to do something else. Okay? So the minute I found that out, every time I've seen people upset, angry, not even in the show. Oh man, you know, I'm just so sad for his death. It was like, no, he chose to leave. Why do I like? Why am I upset? Why am I mad at Jake for killing off a character that wanted to leave? You know, um, and it's sort of the same way I look at Jason's death. You know, the actor chose not to take the vaccine, and you know, yeah, I can look at. I don't know if that's really a fair comparison, but it doesn't make me as angry. It makes me angry at the studio a little bit for them having him do something that he didn't want to do. But I'm not broken up about it like, oh my goodness, I just can't believe that they killed him off. It's like, well, it was kind of his choice, and that's the choice that he chose to take. And so when I look at Brando, and I look at his death scene, I'm just like, before I get all angry and upset, I gotta sit there and ask, was it his choice? Because then I can't get mad at the studio for something that he chose to do. Okay, maybe with Steve, with with his circumstance, I can be my anger can be directed more at the studio because you know reasons. But with Brando, we don't know yet. You know, I haven't heard anything. I mean, yeah, I've read comments, and I know somebody was saying saying that, he had other projects, other things in the work. So, maybe he just didn't want to, be on the show anymore. But then I've also read a tweet from him saying that they would have to drag him out in the body bag before he ever leaves the show. You know, we can interpret it in many different ways. I interpret it as the dude really loves his job. They're not taking him out that job unless they literally drag his dead body out of there. So, that can give me an indication that he wanted to stay and that the studio wanted to let him go. But we don't really know. I mean, you look at the first Jordan, right? And there was rumors saying that she wanted to leave. She had another show in the works. And so, she just wanted to leave. But no, it's not there reading an article, I think like maybe a week and a half ago, basically saying that she didn't want to leave. That wasn't her choice to leave. They just was like, no, you got to go. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I know that people are going to do what they want to do. But I always sit there and say, before anyone gets mad at either the actor, the studio, whatever, just find out the reason of your anger. Because I've seen that too many times today with Peacock and Days and people being like, I can't believe they made the wrong choice. I hope it goes back on NBC. Like these people took 5 seconds or 5 minutes to sit there and go on that person's channel, write a comment and everything like that, and yet they couldn't be bothered to do a Google search for 5 minutes. You know? Now I want to start off with Christina, Sunny, and Alexis. I haven't seen this side of Alexis in a very, very, very long time. Since I first started watching the show. Alexis and her judgmental ways. Okay? This is after Sonny was talking to Victor, and Victor was like, nah, bro, we family. I'm like, he is right. That is his family. They want Christina to be safe, and they want her to like maybe cut down on working for a little bit, stay with one of them, just to until this person's found and killed. I get their concern, their passion for protecting their daughter, and she gets that too, which is why she's not acting out like she usually does. But she's like, yo, listen, I'm good. I want to work. Phyllis needs my help. I'm barely a witness. And yeah, you can kind of look at that and be like, she's not taking this too seriously. You know? Because Christina's like, oh, well, the person didn't even see me. I was like, well, what if they did? What if they did? So I get the back and forth between the three. Alexis is an idiot. Okay? Because while Sonny is pushing, he's not being judgmental. Like, when Alexis was like, well, I don't understand why you're sitting there, you want to devote, you want to pretty much rest your life for this low income, dead end job. And I was like, there's the Alexis that I used to know and couldn't stand. I was just waiting for this woman to rear her ugly head out. And there you go. And right then and there, as I'm sitting there writing, I'm just like, well, damn. Okay. Alexis, why don't you tell her how you really feel? So Sonny tries to be like, like he tries to minimize the damage a little bit. And Christina is just like, she is upset. She's like, wow, okay, it always comes back down to this. They go back and forth. And, this is one of those things where it's like, Alexis says something that was really messed up, right? Because that's a lot of times, but it hasn't been in a while, but that's just what Alexa says. But then she makes it worse by trying to downplay what she said. I was like, you literally just you devalued her job, and now you're trying to backpedal and not try to make it seem like what you did was that bad. As opposed to just saying, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm just really concerned about your safety, yada, yada, yada. She just starts to backpedal, and it just becomes worse. And after a while, Christina she just had enough, and she walked away. And Alexa just stands there looking like the idiot that I used to, again, no one can't stand. Um, or couldn't stand back in the day. Oh, Alexis, Alexis, Alexis. Even Christina was like, listen, this job isn't permanent. What I'm doing right now, it makes me happy. But it sucks that you are looking at it and you're looking at me like that. Like it just, oh, Alexis. Now let's talk about, there is so much to talk about, in a sense. So Anna's on the phone and she's talking to somebody. I think it might have been Robert or someone. And she's all like, yeah, I'm being really careful. Meanwhile, she has her back turned. And let's put it this way. There's so many times that something's happened to someone. Now getting robbed, shootout, you name it. And now you got this guy or this woman on the loose with a hook that's just stabbing people, just straight up murking people. And Anna's all like, no, I'm being really careful. Meanwhile, you got Jordan, for some odd reason, just playing with the hook, just coming up right behind Anna. So when Anna gets off the phone, she turns around and she's like, oh. And then she's all like, you really shouldn't be sitting there walking up on people like that with that hook. And Jordan didn't even like apologize. When I'm looking at it, I'm just like, well, Anna had a point. Like, you probably shouldn't just be walking up behind people with that thing. I'm like, Anna, you should be watching your you know what I'm saying? You should be watching your six at all times. I mean, hell, you were a spy for, well, I don't know how long, but still. So anyway, you get to talking about that, talk about Brando, talk about Jordan, deciding if she wants to sit there and get involved or not. And long story short, I mean, I know Anna was like, well, I get what you're saying. You don't want them to cause him more pain, but is it right to Curtis? Sit there and withhold the truth from him. And I'm like, she has a point, but at the end of the day, it still comes across as Anna telling Jordan to interfere with Portia and Curtis. Like when you cut through all the noise, not just saying that some of it doesn't make any sense. Essentially, that's what she's saying. Um, at some point, Valentine does come by, and he's not there talking to Anna about his daughter, and I don't know. Just, some of it after a while was just like, yeah, we know Valentine. You have a lot of enemies, and you didn't think about that before you had a child, and yada 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 yeah. Valentine, we get it. We get to the point of talking about Lucy. And I think after a while, they both agreed to pull Lucy out of this whole thing. But I'm like, it didn't need to go as far as it did in the first place. Like, it really didn't. And to this day, there's just certain things that's just like, why? Why? Sometimes when you do things like that, it irks me. It irks me because I feel like either the writers are being lazy or they just treat us like a bunch of idiots. And either way, it's unacceptable and insulting. So you got this whole deception meeting thing going, and Brooklyn is distracted, and Lucy is, I don't know, now she's like laying down a hammer, and she starts talking about the fact that Brooklyn is neglecting her job because she got other outside things. Now, here's my whole thing about Brooklyn's job. Why can't Maxie not do it? I mean, I don't know what kind of responsibilities Maxie has, but Maxie has always been a social media person. So why can't Maxie not do Brooklyn's job? This is where I was sitting there when I was watching it. I'm just like, what is the point of Brooklyn actually being there anymore? And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just sitting there saying, like, okay, in the beginning, she was able to sing. So I was like, all right, cool. She can sing and do some social media stuff. But in reality, her job is social media. But I'm like, Maxie can do that too. Again, I don't know what Maxie's job is, so I can't sit there and be like, okay, well, let's just tack on one more thing. But I'm like, in a lot of ways, I just kind of see her job as just being somewhat easily replaceable. I mean, you can hire any 20-year-old to do what Brooklyn is doing. So I don't really understand why she's there. And there was one point Lucy was like, oh, well, if you don't get your act together, they're going to fire you. I'm like, okay, it's a little kind of harsh, but whatever. I mean, if that was the case, you should have fired Sasha a long time ago if you want to sit there and start dropping down the hammer. So Victor comes by to, go out with Lucy. And Lucy starts trying to come up with a bunch of excuses. Meanwhile, she's trying to come up with these excuses, and she keeps looking for Maxie to, back her up on it. But after the whole meeting, Maxie was like, nah, you don't have that meeting. That meeting is done. Oh, you mean out of the project? Oh, no, we finished that yesterday. Nah, it seems like you're all free. Yep. Well, I'm just gonna head on out, leave you two lovebirds alone, pretty much, and she just left. Victor pretty much was like, if you go out on, you go on a date with me, we'll count this as a business meeting, and I can sit there and give you some extra funding towards, deception if you, accompany me. And I'm just like, bro, you. I don't know why, but that's just a bad look when you literally have to practically bribe someone just to spend time with you. Just saying. But she agrees, and she goes out. I have a feeling that Victor is going to get tired of the quote unquote chase and is going to either do something to Lucy, kidnap her, or something. But I feel like now's the time where Lucy's going to be in danger. And of course, Anna, and I guess Valentine a little bit, mostly Anna, is going to be sitting there kicking herself. Mostly Anna. Oh, and towards the end of the episode, it was, found out that the hook or whatever was in Brando's system was poisonous. So that means that this person poisoned the hook to make sure that the job was going to get done. And that's, I mean, people going to talk about, I know what you did last summer, but this is definitely a twist to that whole thing. Jonah was also at the hospital because she was tight. Okay, she wants to keep a lot of these details wrapped up, and it got leaked out by Finn. Now, Finn was not there talking to Portia, and Portia was like, listen, I'm happy that someone leaked it out. Someone had the courage to do this way. The public has, they can sit there and know and protect themselves. But then Jordan comes in there, and Jordan's like, yo, listen, I'm gonna have a word with your chief of staff because you're gonna have to sit there and make sure we get some stuff straightened out. Jordan and Portia kind of get into it a little bit about, free press and, that people got a right to know and whatever. But the thing is, Jordan's like, yo, listen, I want to kind of keep some stuff close to the vest. And thanks to some, sloppy doctor, now they can see a certain element that wasn't really known to them coming. I get where Jordan's coming from. I get where Alexis is coming from. So I don't think there's really a right or a wrong in the situation. Or even the doctor, Fenn in this case, um, as far as leaking it to the press. But I could be wrong. Now, before that happened, Chase did come to talk to Fenn. And, he was like, yo, what's going on with Brando, this, that, and the third. So I asked him a bunch of questions, and it seemed like he's just frustrated. But Fenn is like, you do realize you're not a cop, right? You know, Chase nature is about protecting and serving and just doing what he can to sit there and help people out. So he's not really thinking like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm not a cop anymore. And Finn has to sit there and give him a reality check. Yo, listen, we want to make sure stuff doesn't get tampered with and things of that nature. Oh, also, by the way, I'm doing a live. Hopefully, my laptop should be charged around 6:30, 7. I don't want to make it at 7, but I want to make sure that my laptop is at 100, which is why I didn't really post a time yet. But it's already like 5 something. So, and I usually have to give people an hour notice about the live. Um, but yeah, no, Finn had to sit there and give him a reality check. Like, yo, listen, you're not a cop. You can't sit there and just start running around doing things, tampering evidence, getting stuff thrown out. Like, it's just not going to do you any good. Um, so he has a talk with him, and then he goes for his audition. So he goes for his audition. Before that, Miss Wu was there. Miss Wu was like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know exactly what the hell she was doing. There was a part where it cut out, and I'm probably gonna have to sit down and watch it on Hulu after 8 o'clock because heaven forbid them to actually put it on at 8 o'clock when it's supposed to be. But she comes in the nightclub, and at first she's like, "Oh, you didn't sit there and tell me that you're engaged, this, that, and the third." And I'm just like, "What game is Miss Wu playing?" She's not there for a poker meeting. And Courage is like, well, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I could have hooked you up with one of my jewelers." And I'm like, uh, Courage is just like, what are you doing here? You're not really answering the question. Again, it got cut off, so I don't know exactly what happened, but at some point, Chase came in, he auditioned, he sung, I muted it. Please let me know if it was good. Maybe I'll go back and replay it and listen to it. But he got the job, so okay. Um, I don't know what to say about that scene. I just feel like Miss Wu's character was probably wasted. You know, I know she's going to be doing something more active later on, but sometimes I'm just like, even when they do have Miss Wu, every once in a while they'll manage to find a way to just waste her. But it sucks because I love some Miss Wu. Anyway, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I don't think I really missed too much of anything of importance. I don't know. I was so tired this morning that I had this whole plan of doing a lot of these reviews early. Hell, doing all 4 of them. Of course, that didn't go to plan. Throughout the day, I was like, even with B&B, it's like Steffi is just making it damn near impossible to watch. Like yesterday, I'm literally sitting there just looking at my phone the whole time because mm. Like I said, Y&R, they got some issues that I want to sit there and talk about live in the chat when I do my live stream today. So I will let my laptop, after I finish uploading this video, I will let my laptop probably charge up. I'm thinking 7. I'm thinking 7. I want to do it at 6, but clearly that's just not in the card. So I will sit there and post a time for 7. And then hopefully afterwards I could at least try to get the B&B review out. But it really depends if Steffi just tries my nerves today. So I'm not gonna make any promises about that. But I do want to kind of talk more about this stuff that's going on with GH in the live stream. So hopefully, I can sit there and see a lot of y'all today. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Or hopefully see you in the live today.